Welcome back to Fully Stoked podcast. I am Sarah Stokes, your hostess, and Cody's not with us today because I am here today with the beautiful Nichole Eaton, who is quite a success. So, lady entrepreneurs, I hope you are really going to enjoy this one. You're going to love getting to know Nichole Eaton. And as always, I am a lender. If you have any home financing needs, please reach out to me. But more than anything, I love connecting people like Nichole Eaton. So let's get started. Your journey, Nichole, is amazing. As I've researched who you are and all the things you've accomplished, I am just more and more excited to get to interview on this podcast. What pulled you into counseling? What was the first thing? Because you are a licensed counselor, right?
I think that all counselors start off because we're in family dynamics that we need to figure out. I think that's just as transparent as I can be, is that when you grow up very emotionally intelligent, very emotionally aware, you really want to understand why things are happening, why people are the way they are. And so I don't think I've met one counselor who hasn't been through it. And I think that's what makes therapists special, because we're not just saying what you should do. We understand what it's like to be there.
Right. It's very cool. And how did you begin blending that with your intuitive gifts?
Okay, this is a really fun story. Are you ready? Okay, so there's something really special that happens when you're really very present in the moment with somebody who is being just wide open and vulnerable. And so when I started doing therapy, I was working at a not-for-profit, and I was having these moments where I just intuitively knew what people were trying to say. And sometimes they would even be like, did I tell you that? What is that? And I remember going into my supervisor's office and I was like, has this ever happened to you? I feel like it only happens once in a while and I don't understand why it happens or what's causing it to happen. And she was like, it happens to me all the time. And so we had this bonding moment where it was like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. So I went to the library, pulled out every book on intuition, and I started to dig and learn about what intuition is, what makes us intuitive, and really how to listen to it. And I went down this rabbit hole so far, Sarah, that I went and I trained with a psychic medium. I took intuitive classes with a psychic medium because I wanted to understand not just how to pull it on accident or just have moments where I'm like, what is that? I wanted to know how it works and why it works, because at the basis of intuition, everybody has one. It's our internal guidance system. And when we understand how to hear it within ourselves, we can learn to trust ourselves. We can make decisions that lead to us feeling really good. And it just drives our general happiness if we understand it.
I agree. My personal experience, same. My intuition is very strong, and if you can learn to trust it. So that's really interesting. So you actually worked with a psychic medium to sort of hone your craft. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, to just understand, I'm a learner. I want to know everything about everything, and I'm not somebody who is going to take the woo-woo for face value. And I think that's what I do differently, is that I incorporate intuition, but I do it in a really down-to-earth, grounded way, because I understand skepticism and I understand that intuition, as performative as it can be, that's not what it's meant for. It's meant to be activated and listened to in all of us. So training with the psychic medium was really interesting, but undeniable the way she taught me to use my intuition. It's things that you can't ignore. It's things that you can't mistake. And when you have enough of those, you learn to trust yourself on a different level.
That is so interesting. There's more interesting things that we're going to talk about. So these black hole moments, you talk a lot about black hole moments, and can you explain what that means and how women can use those times as like a launch pad for their comeback?
Yeah, so I wrote a lot about black hole moments in my second book, Rock Your Comeback, and I kind of define this twofold, right? There's the black hole moments that happen to you. So that might be a divorce, or that might be getting laid off from a job, or that might be something that you really were planning on it working out that it just didn't work out. And if you've ever had a major loss, it's kind of like a black hole. You're in this swirling chaos and everybody else is fine, but everyone else is going on with their day-to-day business. And you're just like, how do I get out of this feeling? How do I get out of this emotion? The other way you can encounter a black hole is getting to a point in your life where you've checked all the boxes. You've done all the things. You had the kids, the the house, the car, the job, and something just feels off. And you can't put your finger on it, but it's like everything that you thought was going to make you happy is somehow not. So those are the two pivotal moments where we're like, okay, change is happening. It's either thrust upon us or it's being sparked inside of us to the point where we can start to look at a new direction for ourselves.
That's awesome. And I love like the imagery of a black hole moment. That's so
You know
good.
exactly what that feels, right? Like getting
Right.
into something and you just like, where's the door? There's no
Resonates. I
door.
think it resonates with so many people. So that's why I think they need to go get your book. It's the second book's Rock Your Comeback. Now tell me about the first book.
Rock Your Soul, the Down to Earth Guide to Mastering Your Mind is really about understanding how your mind works on a very basic level. So I do breeze over that and Rock Your Comeback because I'm passionate about how our mindset works, but Rock Your Soul was kind of my first. I had a client who said, "Could you just write all of this down that we talk about? Could you just write it down?" And I was like, I could write it down. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
write it down. And I'll give you a cheat sheet. Rock Your Soul is how I started my podcast, Rock Your Comeback. So the first 16 episodes of Rock Your Comeback is my first book. I didn't know how to do audiobooks. It was the best I had at the time. And then it kind of turned into its whole thing with the podcast. So
people can just access a
for
lot of
free.
your book by just going to the podcast.
The
Tell us
entire
again the name of your podcast.
It's Rock Your Comeback.
Rock Your Comeback. And they can find it on all platforms, Spotify, everything.
Everywhere. I am signed on with the Radcast Network, which has been really good to me. And so we are a top 5% podcast globally ranked, and we are about 200,000 downloads a month. So it's been
Researched that and I was like, whoa, this is incredible. And I've seen, if you visit her Instagram, which you should definitely follow her. You'll see all kinds of fabulous things that she's done. You've been on quite a few television shows from what I've seen, and that is really interesting too. So, wow, yeah, very accomplished. One of your big messages about curating is about curating your energy field, right? To magnetize the right people and the right opportunities that look like in practice for someone who's just starting to explore this.
Yeah, I think energy is kind of a big term too, right? So we can break energy down to the thought of like, how do I feel? What is the emotion I'm experiencing the most of? Have you ever had somebody walk in a room and you're like, something's off about them? Like something doesn't feel good about them, or maybe you've gotten to an Uber and you're like, this is heavy energy, or vice versa, right? You have somebody who walks into the room and they light up the room. That's really just a way of saying that the way that they feel is coming out from their body so that other people can feel what they're feeling. So when we're creating our energetic signature, what we can really focus on is how do I want to feel, and what are the things that I can think that will make me feel more like that, and what are the things I can do for myself that will make me feel more like that. And so our energetic signature, it reaches people before we do. You can walk into a room and people are either drawn to you or not, which also means that opportunities are drawn to you or not. Financial opportunities, that promotions are drawn to you or not. So when we learn how to take really juicy, good care of ourselves and curate our energy and our energetic signature, we become a magnet for the things we want. And I think that's pretty cool that you can have your energy speak before you even walk in a room. So if you're really intentional about who you be in the world, how you walk in the world, that things can kind of naturally show up in your world.
So I have a question. Is that similar to like manifesting? It is similar. Okay. My husband and I were talking about this morning. I said, I don't know, but I will find out. I will ask her exactly the similarities or differences.
So I kind of describe manifesting as being on like an elevator for a 10-story building, right? If you get off in the basement, there's basement things. Well, it's usually in the basement, the trash, right?
Right.
Nothing good is in the basement. There's no windows, there's no light. But the higher you go up the floors, the more you see, the better. The penthouse has like the crystal and the good view. So when we can move our mood up, we not only see things differently on a neuroscientific perspective, right? We're looking for better things, but we're also just energetically attracting it because, again, we're light. People are going to remember us. People are going to want to be around us. People are going to want to know what we have to offer. And so I'm talking about it as an energetics, but energetics and emotions are made up of how you think and feel and treat yourself. So it is all tied together, but I like to make it kind of more grounded because manifestation can get really materialistic, which
Okay. Yes.
Sure, you can manifest the house and the car and the money, absolutely. But in my world, and the thing I like to talk about is I don't care if I have the money if I feel like crap. I don't
Exactly.
care if I have the money if I have no time to be the kind of mom I want to be. So for me, what I teach people is how to hear themselves and how to listen to their intuition, but also how to create a feeling about themselves that pulls them out of anxiety, that pulls them out of depression, that gives them confidence, and that gives and creates that magnetism that makes everything kind of naturally show up.
I love all of that. That was just wonderful. You are magnetic, actually. I can feel that. Your energy is very, very good. So a lot of women just struggle to trust themselves. And why do you think they do? Why do we sometimes struggle with that?
Like, Sarah, think back on this, right? Where in history in the last 100, years have women been modeled to trust themselves?
Right.
I mean, we just celebrated the 50th anniversary of when a woman could get a credit card without a man's permission. Women weren't able to become astronauts until the 80s. There's nothing in our history that says women should be trusting themselves, because everything in our history says women should be looking to men to answer the final opinion, the final call. And so we have no modeling to trust ourselves. We have no history that demonstrates that we should trust themselves. So we're doing wild woman stuff out here. We're creating our own path, and we're figuring out how to do that ourselves. And even in linguistic studies, they've shown that the inflection of women is most consistently uptalk or upspeak, which means that every statement is posed as a question because the inflection goes up at the end. So everything in our society is not set up for us to trust ourselves, even though women are the most intuitive creatures on the planet. So that is one of the reasons I'm so freaking passionate about getting women to listen to themselves and trust themselves and tune back in, because even like in moms or caregiver roles, we are taught and modeled by society to self-abandon, and self-abandon is the opposite of trusting yourself, right? It's putting yourself last. It's not tuning into what you need. It's not being able to have a final opinion without curating and responding to what everybody else wants in the scenario. So there's like, if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, Nichole, I don't trust myself at all, like, of course you don't, and that's okay. We'll figure it out together. We don't
Right.
have to do this alone. But
So if they want your coaching, of course they can follow you on social media. They can check out both of your podcasts. They can read both of your books, but they can also work with you directly. Is that right?
yes, I do one-on-one coaching. I usually do packages. I do offer individual, but I really encourage people that like just getting a package will help you create the momentum for yourself. But I do free consultations. So if you're like, I don't know if you're the right fit for me, we can talk it out. And I don't work with everybody on purpose, because I think there's people that I'm aligned with and people that need somebody or something different. And I'm perfectly okay with that.
And you're honest. You're honest with people about that. So that's good. Yeah. Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, let's talk about motherhood and how you had your daughter when you were very young, is what you said, and so you grew your business and this whole journey while you've been a mom. Is that right? Can you just tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I have two wonderful teenage daughters. Everybody said that teenage years were going to be the absolute worst. I have the most fun. They're the best kids ever. But I had my daughter when I was 20 years old. I got married when I was 19. So we struggled. I did all of my schooling. I gave birth to my daughter and then took finals 3 days after. So I got out of the hospital and took finals. I remember with my other daughter, I was like pumping breast milk in the bathroom on my breaks. So I think the cool thing about growing up with them as opposed to growing up and then having them is that I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about prioritizing my time. And I've also learned to just trust in seasons a little bit better, that different seasons of your life are going to allot for different things. And the only thing that you can really do is really understand your values and your priorities, because if you don't understand your values and priorities, your time is going to be squandered. So organizing your time and what's most important to you. Right now, I'm saying yes to less because my daughter's a senior and I'm not missing a darn minute with her. She's going to be off doing her own thing next year, but there's a lot to be learned about organizing your time, time management, and just really creating and curating what you value. I work with a lot of not young moms, but moms with really little kids, and
Right.
their season is very different than mine. So you cannot model your morning routine after mine, because I know that when my kids were 5 and under, I was going to do everything at 8:30 p.m. after I put them to bed, not in the morning before they got up because they were up at 5 a.m. So it's just honoring and respecting where you're at and accepting where you're at and knowing what you can commit to and what you can't and being okay with it.
Yeah, yeah. I am in that season similar to where you are right now. I have a middle schooler and a high school daughter, two daughters also, and they are just fantastic. But I feel like I've grown up with them also. I'm a bit older than you, but I still feel like I grew up with them, so I can identify with what you're saying there. So burning bridges. So you talk a lot about burning bridges of the past, and sometimes we hold on to labels, I think. I know I do. I struggle with that. And tell us a little bit about burning bridges and how to let go of those labels.
I think I have a hard time with the word let go, right? Because I don't think we ever truly let go of something. And I think when that's your goal, it feels like you're battling yourself. I think that one of the words that I use a lot more is like accepting where you're at, because then we can neutralize it. We're not waging war against it. And I think that that energy of waging war and being mad at yourself for not being where you want to be, like that creates more energy towards what you don't want than anything else. So when we can accept that I don't like where I'm at, but I accept where I'm at, it just releases the energy around it that makes it bad or mean something. And that's the thing, is our brain loves to create meaning, which is really cool and really unfortunate, because sometimes it creates meaning against us, like you're going to be here forever, or this is what it is, or this is who you are, or you're whatever the case might be. So one of my favorite things that one of my good friends told me a long, long time ago that I just hold dear and near to my heart, I talk about all the time, is that everything up until this point, your today, your reality today, everything that's going on, everything that's in your life or not in your life, every way that you feel is just a culmination of your past thoughts, feelings, and actions. And so if you don't like it, that's okay. But today is the day that you start creating your new future. Today is the day you start creating a tomorrow, right? Isn't that helpful to think
So
about?
good. I love that. Yeah.
I'm not stuck here. I'm not stagnant here. I just am here because of these things. And if I don't want to be here anymore, then I start to shift and mold these things in small ways. And that's how I get somewhere else. Like it's like baking a cake, right? If you add a little bit more salt, it's going to taste saltier. If you do the same recipe every time, it's going to have the same result.
Okay, so tell us about your work. You are the co-founder of Visionary Blueprint and the co-host of Visionary Blueprint podcast. Can you share a little bit about that work and how you're helping women shatter their own glass ceilings?
Oh, Visionary Blueprint is such a passion project. So separate from what I do with the work with Rock Your Comeback, I started a business with Chelsea Escaffi and Casey Johnson of Ladies Lifestyle Network. And I had gone and spoken at an event in Virginia, and I got to be part of this really insane mastermind. Okay, this is a mastermind of Olympic speed and agility trainers, like high level people, high level business people, high performers. And it was the most efficient mastermind. We got to do this work with like different experts. So we got 1 hour with an offers expert to curate our offers and go back and forth with him. And then we got to move on to like automations and systems. And within 4 hours, I had an entirely different business plan. And I was like, I need this more regularly.
Yeah.
I need this more regularly. So I sat down with some friends and I was like, listen, I want to be able to give women the opportunity to work on their business, not just in it, because I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of extra time. I have my daughter right now, she gets off at 2:30 because she has early release. So I'm on a time crunch because I know that at 2, I want to be available for her to hang out with her for as long as she'll hang out with me. So this was an opportunity. So we have events, we have a podcast where we bring in experts for you to talk to, ask questions to, and work with. We have an event coming up on January 17th called our CEO Day, and we have branding experts. And it's not just them talking at you, it's you physically sitting down and workshopping with them so that you can create a different business plan that works for you and that is with the experts that you would probably pay insane amount to get personal coaching through. So
It's
I'm
exciting.
super excited about it.
I can't wait. So do you have you like announced when it is? Can we sign up now or should we just follow you to find out later?
Yeah, so it's available now. I can send the links over so you can drop them in show notes. It's January 17th, 12 to 4 at Lenny Boy Brewing. And we are also doing like a little VIP hour that you can add on if you want. But yeah, the tickets are $149, which is it's a 4 hour event with the experts, with the working on your stuff. Like bring your laptop, bring all your stuff. We want you to actually get it done. So we have a social media expert, a branding expert, systems expert, and even somebody talking about like imposter syndrome and that kind of stuff. So we've got somebody doing every direction that you could possibly need to like help you get your business to the next level with.
$10 for all that. That sounds
I
like a
know.
good deal. Four
It's
hours and you can bring your laptops and talk with these people. Wow, that
with
sounds
them.
really inspiring. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to sign up for that. So
Yes, you should. It would be
send me
so
the
much fun.
link. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think you kind of touched on this a few minutes ago, but let's just revisit it because I want to hear more about it. You said, people can check all the boxes, all the right boxes in their life, married, kids, career, all those things, and still feel very unfulfilled. So, why do you think that happens? And how do you help people step into a version of themselves that they truly love?
Yeah, two reasons that happens, right? One being that we think the external is going to lead to a feeling, and then we get the external and it doesn't lead to the feeling we think, right? So that's number one, is that we think it's going to lead to a feeling, or we think it's going to impress people and that's going to make us feel a certain way. Every choice we make is trying to get us to a feeling and what we think the feeling will be when we get there. And the second reason is that we might have just outgrown it. We might have gone through some things where things are more important in a different direction than they used to be. I don't know if you ever followed Manifestation Babe, but she built up this massive empire and then just made the announcement that she wants to be a stay-at-home mom and she's not going to work anymore. And so like this is a perfect example of like, okay, the work I'm doing doesn't feel aligned anymore and it doesn't feel like me anymore. And this is the value and the priority that I want to pour my energy into. So either we change or we think it's going to get us somewhere and it doesn't. But either way, what my work is to help you tune back in to start listening to that little inner voice. And really, our body's speaking to us at all times, like our intuition's speaking at all times. And so it's just learning how to listen to it and learning how it's guiding us for like the next choice and what feels really good in our body versus what doesn't. And so when we can get really, really honest with ourselves and really clear within ourselves, we can make better choices that will lead to fulfillment and that will lead to happiness. It's just taking time, slowing down, and being able to tune back into yourself. I have a really incredible woman I'm working with right now, and she's just a boss. She's just a total boss. But she was like, I don't have time for my family. And that is the most important thing to me. And so we've curated her work and how she's doing it. And she's making more money and has more time with her family because she's in alignment. And if you remember what we talked about with the energetic signature, when you're in alignment, people can feel it. When you're yourself, people can feel it. When you're making decisions that feel good, people can feel it. And opportunities kind of just show up in your world. But that's something that I really love to help people do is how do we find our, I don't even think it needs to be joy and happiness because I think those are always those moments that are fleeting. But I think when we can really look at what on a day-to-day basis can I wake up and be grateful for and like genuinely feel that. Like so grateful. I have like my kids are so chill. They're so fun. My husband's amazing. He's so supportive. I love the house I live in. It's my favorite place in the world. I love the town I live in, but it's curating a life that you look at and you're like, yeah, this is all feels really good to me.
Oh, that is wonderful. Well, tell us about the Comeback Club. What is it? How did you create it? Just tell everybody about it.
Yeah. So as my time goes down and just my ability to meet one-on-one with people is a lot more limited than it used to be. I really wanted people to still have an opportunity to have access. In my story, I probably didn't mention that as you have a child at 20 years old and you don't have a career and you're still in school and you're throwing everything on credit cards and you're paying for daycare, which is absolutely nuts, to go to school and to not get paid for it. There is something to be said about, building. I think I lost the question. I'm so sorry. Comeback Club. Sorry.
Comeback Club. Yes.
But
I liked wherever you were going there. Take it.
yeah. So I started to change my life through courses and free services that I could get my hands on and books from the library. And so it is really important to me that no matter how much I end up charging for whatever I do in my life, that I always have something for somebody who is not at the space where they can afford it. So when it comes to the Comeback Club, that is a place where I've put every course I've ever created since 2017, probably 200, 300 hours worth of courses. I do weekly pep talks. So I talk about the energy, just give some inspiration for the week. I do weekly journal prompts. So if you join now, you have 2 years of weekly journal prompts you can go back through. And then I do a brand new course every month. So usually an hour to 45 minutes to an hour of a course based on what people ask for. And I also do a live Q&A, which is kind of like free group therapy. So people submit questions to me and then I answer them 1 hour a month. The Comeback Club is always free the first month because even if you can't stay, I want you to get what you can out of it while you can. So that is something that's really important for me is that come stay as long as you want. And if you need to go after the free month, I don't care. I just want people to get what they need. That's why I put out so many podcasts. That's why I put out so much free content, is because if you can't afford the one-on-one services, I want you to be able to have access to the material that changed my life. So it's all tucked in there.
So one thing I'm going to take away from this talk is that your heart is just a servant heart. You obviously want to help people. I mean, that's crystal clear. So I'm excited to get the word out. Well, the word's already out with 200,000 downloads a month, but we'll get it out some more. And it's so nice to have met you, but I have some rapid fire fun questions for you also.
Oh, I'm excited.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Yes. Early bird or night owl? I think you already said you're early bird.
I love a morning.
Yes.
It's my favorite.
Okay, best song to dance it out in your kitchen.
I am loving Opalite by Taylor Swift on her new album. It's so much fun.
All right. What about your go-to comfort food when you feel like you've had a black hole moment?
Okay, so I love making bread. I'm a big bread maker, and specifically I make this focaccia that's like a one-day easy focaccia, but it almost tastes like those Pizza Hut breadsticks.
Yes.
It's so good.
So funny story, my husband made some focaccia last night and the night before because we have leftover pizza balls. But it's so good. You're right. It's delicious. What's one habit you will never give up, even if it's silly?
I actually love a good cold Diet Coke. I know logically that's not the best thing for my body, but my soul loves it, and so I feel like it's probably okay.
Yeah, I used to drink those. They are tasty. All right. So this is not a silly one, but if someone listening feels stuck right now, what's the very first step they should take?
Get honest with yourself. Get
I
honest with
thought you were
yourself.
going to say join the comeback club, but that's selfless of you. Maybe their second step could be to join the comeback club.
Yeah, and the cool thing about, like, we just talked about black hole moments, we've talked about mindset, we've talked about manifesting, we've talked about energy. And the way the Comeback Club courses are broken up is that you can go on and you can just go to, like, I know I'm in a black hole moment. I need the black hole courses. So they're all broken up by what you could possibly need. And you can go in and watch them. And then I have a whole course that's about 8 hours long that is 6 different sessions, and it's called the Comeback Club. So it'll walk you through every single layer of your comeback.
Fall. Okay, well, I'm going to go check all of those out for the
Yes.
first month, and then I'll join the second month. So Nichole, you have been incredible, an incredible guest. If our listeners want to know, can you tell us your website again, how they need to connect with you?
Yeah, so my website is NicholeEaton.com. My parents were creative and put an H in my name, so it's Nichole. And I'm really available on Instagram and TikTok. So if you have questions or want to give me feedback, like, I answer my DMs. A lot of people have somebody else who does that. I love connecting with people, and I don't always get back right away, but I will always respond. So reach out, ask questions, and if you want to join the Comeback Club or you want to work with me, let me know and we'll get you on my schedule.
Well, thank you so much, Nichole. You have been an awesome guest to have on here, and I can't wait to see you in January, and I will check out your Comeback Club as well. And that's it. That's a wrap, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.